Hi, hello. Today we are in a 5th gen Camaro Supercharged with a centrifugal supercharger. The owner was telling me the reason why he didn't go for a root style blower was because of the heat management. All the heat is outside the engine block. So what do you get? Less heat soak, better cooling, more reliability, better longevity, and also it's just more drivable. When you've got just a massive torque from the roots blower, it just lights the tyres up, you don't go anywhere, you lose races. This puts the power down, and I really like that. Let's go. A centrifugal supercharger uses centrifugal force to force air into the engine's intake. It's driven by a belt connected to the crankshaft. Its impeller forces dense air into the engine to produce more power than a naturally aspirated engine. This TorqStorm Centrifugal Supercharger kit is a bolt-on kit that can add in excess of 200 horsepower to a General Motors V8 engine. Alright, what's your name and tell me about the car?
So Robert Simone, it's a 2010 Camaro SS is what they call it, so it has an upgraded package from the factory, so interior. In 2010 it had every option you could get, which wasn't a lot because it was the first year they came back out. So,
Okay.
That was when we got it. So.
And this chassis is based off an Australian car, is that right?
So yeah, that's where it started, right? That's where the roots came from, and then brought it over, and it's morphed from there. So.
Okay, a Holden Commodore, I believe, and then
yeah.
It's turned into this Gen 5 Camaro.
That's it.
And definitely looks modified. Where do we start?
Just a little bit.
Tell me about the engine. What have you done to the engine?
So it's a L99, so that's the LS3, the automatic version of the LS3. Engine has been completely upgraded, so the valve train was all upgraded, so all the forged internals were done. And then it has a stage 2 cam in it, and then a TorqStorm Centrifugal style supercharger. So that's the basis of the engine. It has a full intercooler system that's attached, so reads pretty good, goes pretty good. It's got headers, ARH racing headers. Yeah, so it's just tuned. So yeah, stock ECU in these, so they're open, so you could just go and tune them. So HP tuners. So it still needs its final tune to dial it all in, but it's got a pretty decent going right now. So.
Okay. Does it have injectors?
Yeah,
injectors?
so 85 pound, upgraded to 85 pound injectors.
Okay,
yeah.
Running on pump gas?
Yeah, run on 91 octane is the tune, because we're in Great California, so
it's like a punishment for something we've done wrong. Punishment for our sins.
That's it.
91 ACM.
Yeah.
Tell me about the suspension. Definitely sitting low.
Yeah. So it's Airlift. That's actually, I think, the first mod I did was the Airlift Performance suspension that was put in. It's a full race system. So camber, damper. The biggest thing that sold me on it was I was worried, right? And a lot of people may be about the quality, right? Because you think it's a bag, it's rubber. But when I was talking to the guy, he told me, he said, look at every semi and every bus that's on the road, right? Every new one has airbags, every single one of them, and those things drive for millions of miles, right? So he said you could just look at the difference, right? And back in the day, it was a lot different. So in this, the whole brain is about this big. It's a little brick. It's about that big. It does everything. So it's tenfold from where it used to be in the day, because you used to have one valve was that big, right, in a setup, and then the bag was separate, right? So you had a float where your car would float around. That's where you got that from. Well, these have a hole that goes through the middle, and a strut actually goes straight through, right? So you get the rigidity, and it's a full camber damper system, like I said. So it's a race ready, and it's electronically controlled. So you got the little box. I did it because I wanted to lower the car without messing it up, right? You see all the lowered cars, but California with the roads and everything how it is, they just mess them all up, and I can't afford to keep replacing stuff. So now I hit the button and it goes up, goes over whatever I need to, hit the button, and you go back down and you're smooth, right? That's the best. I wouldn't do it another way, really wouldn't.
today because it's the first time I've got some American muscle on this channel. So supercharged Camaro, 6 pounds of boost, about 550 horsepower to the wheels. So let's see what it's all about. Oh, listen to that! This thing hauls, and that noise is fantastic. Whoa, this is what it's all about. So the power band is just nice, it's predictable, it's linear. When that boost kicks in, it kicks in progressively. So the back end is not kicking out, it's controllable, it's manageable. Here we go. Okay, on air suspension. Suspension is coping with the road. This body roll, tipping into a corner here. Steering is really light, in fact it's probably the lightest steering I've experienced in a performance car. Okay, brakes are okay. Flicking it left, there's a little bit of body roll. The ride is very comfortable indeed. And the sound from that supercharger, the whooshing, is great. Tell me about the wheels.
So centerline wheels. So I got those because of the offset, right? So with the airbags, right, you got to know where your offset is. So when you lower it, it looks right, and your wheels aren't too far out or too far in, right? Because it looks weird either way. And then if it's too far out, you can't drop it all the way. So that's the kind of the difference in what you're looking for. So. And then I painted these in the garage, so they're custom painted. I did it, and that was my first paint job, first trying my hand at painting. It came out pretty good, so I like it.
Definitely came out good.
Yeah.
Tell me about any other exterior modifications like the hood.
Yeah, so the hood is a Sabon carbon fiber. It's a TS style hood, custom painted. Stripes are all painted in. They're not vinyl. I had the louvers painted. It actually has a Halo Supercars hood tilt on it, so it actually opens the opposite way from the stock car. So that's a pretty neat feature. I like the hood, right? And when your hood opens this way, it goes away. You only see the underside, right? So when you do that, now it opens to the front and you still see the hood and everything it gives. So that was pretty cool. I did that at the same time I did the spoiler. So it's a street scene 3-piece dovetail, and then it's all painted too. It's not crazy spoiler, right? It's just, I think it's just enough on the car. It just gives it a touch.
Really easy car to drive, not intimidating at all. Great power. This isn't going to be the fastest thing around the track, but on the street you can cruise, you've got comfort, and when you touch that throttle, boom, you are gone. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? It sounds fantastic. The ride is good, as I said before. You can feel the bumps. It's not wallowy. It actually feels knobbly, if that's the technical term. You can feel actually what each wheel is doing underneath you. It's the first time I've tried one of these air suspension, and it's not just bags, it's not just air, it's a combination of air on a coilover, and I think that's the perfect setup. You get the best of both worlds. The more I drive it, the more I get used to the car. I'm starting to trust the car, and it's capable. It is really capable. You have to be mindful of your speed, and when you get to the corner, you're probably doing about 20 miles an hour more than what you think you are doing. So you've got to be really careful. It's on the Zeta chassis, so it shares the same chassis as the Pontiac G8 and the Australian Holden Commodore. Weighs just under 4,000 pounds. So it's pretty heavy, but it's a muscle car. It's not a razor sharp track car, it's a muscle car. It's a cruiser, it's a fast cruiser. And when I first got in the car, it was like I'm sitting in an armchair. So comfortable. And it's on there. This is like just a beautiful, comfortable, crazy fast car. Love the power. Whoa, hard on the brakes. Woo! So the brakes work well. We came into that corner hot, and there's the stop sign. Just seen it. Yes, the brakes work well. Having a lot of fun today. Yes, it can line the sides up if you want to. And that cam sounds fantastic. The exhaust is great. Fast car. I mean, this has got to be under 4 seconds to 60. So much fun in the canyons. I wasn't expecting it to handle like this. But it's pretty good. I mean, I'm sure if I drove it aggressively, I would see more and more flaws in the chassis. But the steering in this car, I think, is the one thing, again, that is the weak point. The steering. The brakes could be better because these are stock brakes, and they do struggle to rein in the power, to rein in the speed from the additional nearly 200 horsepower that this supercharger gives you. And the steering doesn't have a lot of feel, doesn't tell me really what's going on, and it's really light, but it gets the job done. Please subscribe, like, give it a thumbs up, share the video. Thank you so much, and guys, look forward to the next episode of The Speed Addiction.